Welcome to livzenastrology, the channel for updates and reflections, where we are grounded in the stars and elevated by consciousness. Thank you for tuning in.
So processing this energy of the full moon in Aquarius, opposite the sun. Venus is just going into Leo. There's this beautiful trine energy happening. Well, it was with the full moon, and now the moon is in Aquarius, so the Aquarius is going to be coming up to conjunct Saturn and Pluto, opposite the sun. So how are these configurations presenting themselves in this now moment? Sitting outside in nature, the cicada medicine is strong. I feel like it's harmonizing, helping to harmonize my nervous system, because I've been feeling this nervous energy all day, this disorientation, sleeplessness. My body is seeing it as anxiety, but I know that's more than that, because I had a lucid dreaming moment this afternoon where I slept for about an hour. I just keep my eyes open. And in this image, it was like I was aware that I was dreaming, which is what lucid dreaming is really. I was aware I was in a dream state, and I was seeing, like behind my eyes, looked like a television screen, and the screen was disoriented, like the channel wasn't coming in. So it was like, and one of the screens, it was like several screens that I was seeing, like a computer screen, and then it was upside down and jagged, and it wasn't coming in at all, like the image. And in the dream state, I knew it's like I'm being recalibrated or reprogrammed or upgraded. It's almost as if like the motherboard, which is in my brain, my consciousness, is being rewired. And there was like an antenna, being able to receive the frequencies, the currents that were coming in, and just re-imaging, allowing whatever was showing up on the screen to kind of correct itself. So I definitely have been feeling this energy within my own nervous system, and I can only come from the point of the fractal as I'm getting to know these planetary energies, these illuminated points, the star points, the fixed stars, the luminaries, the sun and the moon. And I will say, even now in retrospect, when I woke up at 3:30 this morning, I came downstairs, had some coffee with one of the housemates I'm staying with now, Tom, and came outside. It's actually kind of a full circle moment, because I'm outside where I was at the beginning of this day. And when I initially woke, there was a sense of peace. There was a sense of excitement about the day, and like so many downloads that I had received. My higher consciousness likes to speak in metaphor, because I feel like my child's mind sometimes need to understand these higher concepts through story forms. I feel like my own inner guidance is like constantly telling stories or showing storybooks about what's happening. And I kept getting the image of an instrument. Like if I was an instrument, I'm thinking of musicians, right? People who play music. You're familiar with this. That when you're getting ready to play, say in an orchestra setting, there's a tune-up that happens right before you play together, and you want to make sure that your chords are aligned, you're in tune, and there's like a warming up process, and then there's this initiation where the maestro, taps the rod, and then begins this momentum, this directed energy to initiate the band into playing, to initiate the orchestra into playing together. And I come from the maxim that all is self, just from direct experiences, through deep meditation, through psychedelic experiences. I've had these awarenesses where really there is nothing outside of me that is not me, that I'm not connected to on some level, that's not, this God force, whatever we decide to call that, this creator, this source energy field, that I'm a part of all of it, and all of it is part of me. So there is no separation from that. So the identifier really for me, my maxim in my storytelling of my connection to these planetary energies, is all is self. So I know that it's interesting. It's kind of like when we talk about music doesn't come from the radio station, right? Like when you hear music coming out of a speaker or some sort of sound receiver, we know that the music is not coming from there, that it's receiving these waves from someplace else and just simply transmitting it. And that was sort of the awareness that I got today was, I am this radio station, I am this transmitter receiving these tones, these tunes, these cosmic sounds, and they're playing through me. They're playing through this instrument, which is this human form. All my organs, right? You go to church and they play the organs. Well, there's organs inside our bodies, and it's like these notes, these tunes, these waves are being played through me. And there's like a tune-up process, right? Like I could feel that I'm being tuned up. I'm out of tune. Not my chords are not in alignment. It's a bit of a disorientation or a distortion energy. Oh, fireflies! 2 fireflies just came right in front of me. So, just going back to the awareness that I feel and I know that there's these currents, these waveforms, these particles that I'm tapping into or tuning into from the inside, my organs, if you will, are being played in a new way. And so I'm not used to these notes. I'm not used to these sounds. This is unfamiliar to me. And so my mind's trying to explain it, right? As I'm having these mystical and esoteric experiences, the mind immediately, because there's 2 hemispheres, the right and the left brain, the masculine and the feminine, the electromagnetic, the electro meaning the masculine, the magnetic meaning the feminine. Those 2 hemispheres are trying to explain or trying to identify this frequency, this newness. And, we've heard a lot of people talk about the rainbow bridge or that unifying point, which really is unifying the corpus colostrum, or colostrum, I think that's how you pronounce it. Just in the nape of the neck, that's the balancing point. That's what actually unites the hemispheres of the right and the left brain to have a very linear perspective, so we can regulate time and space, which would be the masculine, but then also the very right brain, feminine, creative, mystical side, tapping into the mystery, the unknown, the metaphor of our experience. And so there's like a unification happening within. Because for a lot of us, that part of the brain, that aspect of us has been, because of pollutants and different chemistry in this realm, corrupted, like a corrupted file, like a computer program. And our brain is very much like a computer, like a motherboard, receiver of information. And so I feel like it's all being repaired right now, that there is a deep process happening, and it's regulating my vibration, my frequency, and that's what's really creating this experience that I'm having in this human form. Because if we're all of it and we're infinite and there's nothing outside of us, it's not us, then it's the aspect of me that is the human, right? HUE, the color, the spectrum of me that's showing itself. And it's in a different form. It's in a different tone, if you will. And so I'm just learning how to play this instrument. I'm learning how to play these notes, learning to allow these harmonies to come through, these vibrations, with as much grace and ease as possible, and really getting out of my own way, detoxing my thoughts, staying present with each breath. Yeah, this is an interesting full moon experience, and there was a lot of revelation. One of the revelation points that I thought was interesting was about the word balance, and I've always believed that there's this striving for balance, right? Balancing out the hemispheres, balancing out our movements, staying in balance, and now with these new expressions, with these new waveforms that are coming in to be integrated, the word that keeps coming up more so than the word balance is a resonance. It's more like, can you resonate? Can you hold a resonant tone? Can you vibrate harmoniously and in tune as much as possible? And so I guess that's one of the revelation points that I'm experiencing. It's not so much can you stay balanced, but can you stay in tune? Can you stay in tune to the creations that want to come through you? This is Mercury in Virgo right now, which is really wanting structure and routine. And, it's going to be trining Capricorn and Pluto transformation, but it's also going to be trining our North Node and Uranus. And so it's giving structure. It's giving remembrance of, hey, you want to create this, remember? Because this is another thing that I'm noticing as I'm processing these energies is my own polarized thinking, right? Of the fight or flight and survival mode and my need to just create to create a space of creation. But there's also this dance in this realm we also need to pay the bills and we need to survive in a way. And what does that look like without selling your soul, without prostituting yourself, because there's this energy, this inner rebel, Uranus, that refuses to do anything of what I used to do to earn a living, if you will. Like there's this part of me that's like, no, I'm not going to do it. It's not going to happen. It's like this rebelliousness against my own mechanism, and then stepping into this unknown creative aspect but with such uncertainty, because I mean, how am I going to make money at it? How am I going to survive? The ego wants to live. And I know it's ego because, we're still in Leo season right now, and the ego is large in Leo. I mean, so is the creative form, and so is the sense of playfulness, but the ego, it really was created during the time of Leo. So it's this push-pull, it's this dance of consciousness, of stepping into the deep unknown, facing your fear, making that agreement that you're not going to go back and prostitute yourself in ways to earn money or to generate currency that feel unholy or unbalanced, or there's that word again, balanced, that's not in resonance with who I am now, who I'm becoming. So it definitely is this dance. It's this dance and it's this play. And it's a moment by moment journey, really, of just Virgo, right? Mercury, Virgo. Remember your practice. Remember to breathe. Remember to move your body. Remember to clean, to purify your space. Remember that it's just a moment. This is not forever. That each point of power is in each moment, each breath that you take. And it's not forever. If I could just stay out of my own way, which I'm realizing because of all this fear, it tends to be a sabotage energy coming up to express itself, to almost want to kill my own creative form, because it's the ego. It's almost like there's this, and maybe this is where why we created warfare to begin with, right? That there's these opposing forces that want to win. All life wants to live. And so the ego wants to live in a certain way, but then this new creative aspect of me that's not based on anything outside of myself or prostituting myself wants to live as well. I want to live in my creative life force energy. So it's about finding that rainbow bridge within. It's about crossing the threshold of consciousness and trying to stay in tune as much as possible in awareness. And I'm here to tell you it is a process. It's a moment by moment journey, and maybe that's just where we all need to be right now. Staying in our practice, staying in the process, hoping for the best, fearing what we need to fear, like feeling the fear, but then doing it anyway, like moving through it, letting fear move through you. If it's just a note, if it's just a tone. And that's another awareness, is like, when fears dominate my thinking pattern, it's because I'm out of tune. And so it's just a matter of retuning myself. And even as I speak now, it's funny, I'm feeling this relief energy, because I'm creating. I'm actually allowing myself to express what it is I'm feeling, and then sharing these expressions. And it actually feels relief. It feels like, this pent-up energy, this pent-up vibration needed to go somewhere. And with Leo right now, the sun in this opposition to the moon that we just had, and now, the moon's going into Aquarius, or is in Aquarius now, but it's conjuncting Saturn, which is structure. It's like, hey, remember, it's just a moment, but be in the constant awareness that it's just a moment, and use this anxiety, this pent-up energy to create the sun, Leo, because it's in our creations, in our creative form. That's where you're going to find relief. That's where you're going to find resonance. I'm really going to be mindful to use the word resonance and substitute of balance now, because I feel that just makes more sense with what I experienced and how I'm choosing to live my life in this now moment. So anyway, this is more of a audio podcast style. I didn't want to really put myself on film today. I wasn't feeling the call to do that, but I still wanted to express and to share the energy and the vibration as I'm feeling it today in this full moon. And thank you for contemplating and reflecting with me, and just know that there are certain energies coming into this cosmic field that we may have never experienced in this way before, and these are just ways that I'm processing, and I hope that if it brings you any kind of relief to know you're not alone, if you're feeling any of these frequencies or dissonances or distortions, that you're not the only one, and there's ways to move through it. It's a moment by moment journey. Just hang in there. It's going to be okay, no matter what. We're all going to be okay. Just take a breath. This is more of a reminder to myself more than anything. But if I can share this with the other Aquarius and help you get some perspective, then that would have helped me, because we're all one. And as I help you, I help myself. And as I help myself, I help you, right? It's where we're moving towards. Anyway, so I hope this contemplation reflection serves. Please tune in, livzenastrology, for more activations, more reflections, more opportunities to grow and learn together. Just sharing these cosmic perspectives as I'm experiencing in real time, and called to share in my own voice. Thank you for tuning in. Blessings.